This is bound corpse. There's a lot that goes into them to make them look like we want them to look.
What is the secret for doing this number of items and remaining creative?
Well, the first one is total creative. Like Philip Morris, the Philip Morris from Morris Costumes, always said it costs no more to reproduce a good sculpture as a bad one. And I've lived by that. And we try to make it really good. So there's that creative process. The first compromise, of course, is it has to pull out of a mold. And that's not so much a problem if you're doing something for a movie. You just have to make one, and you can go through great undulations to make it happen. But when you're mass producing, you have to, there's that compromise. But then when you start mass producing, you need to develop systems that accelerate. Like one of the systems I use is like repetition. Like I'm not doing it right now, but like when I'm basing, I'll like this darker area, I'll come through and I just instead of going, well, there's a little here, there's a little here, a little over here, a little there, and it becomes more like a machine. You can just boom, 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 and you're actually more accurate too because you're hitting the same spot over and over, and you can nail it faster and more perfectly than if you're trying to take on the whole color on the whole area all at once. And that speeds stuff up. And let me tell you, when we were doing wholesale and competing against the stuff coming out of China, we had to come up with ways to accelerate. And plus, when you're doing wholesale, the numbers are crazy. So we've taken that, and then over the years we refined our paint jobs, like this rub out technique. This came from Jordu. I knew about it, I tried it, nothing worked. He showed me the trick with FW and rubbing alcohol, and boom, it's like so much better. It's more work, because base shadow highlight, which is the foundation of this company, their origins and company, that's just, I've got a video where I painted a skull in 27 seconds. Base, shadow, highlight. And, yes, there's more to it. There's some black and things. But rub-outs and speckling have really, like if you look at these tombstones, they first start with a medium gray, and then let that dry, spray the whole thing with black ink, and then we take a sponge and just stroke down like rain would drip on the stone. Do that, and then make sure I've got some black and light areas, and then of course we have to go dark in some of like this, and then come in with black speckles, white speckles, and then come in subtly with black in a spray bottle and just hit it in a spot and let them drip down and enhance that look. And so it's quite a bit of work, but still we can do it fast. And we like that. Here's a cheat. In the sculpture, in the original sculpture, the details have to be more deep when you sculpt them, so that as the mold wears a little, which it does, every pull, it's just a thin layer of plaster. It's not really visible, but it's there. So in order to compensate for that and make the 20th piece look as good as the first piece, we have to dig deep. So these lines are very deep. And that's one of the ways we can manufacture in bulk without making a new mold every 6 pulls. And we can get, up to 50.
In some sense, accepting that things are difficult and hard can help you through the process. Just knowing that.
Yeah, you know it, and you don't get depressed. Like when we have brought in new people, and they look at a room full of full-size animatronics, and you say, okay, we got to finish this today. let me tell you, that's a startling thing to somebody new. It's like, finish it today. I'd spend 3 weeks on this.
You know, something that I experienced the first time I really worked in mass production with Ed is we were doing like 100 tombstones, and it was a really warm day, and I was thinking like, man, how am I going to get through these? And I kind of realized the thought of how am I going to get through these was actually worse than getting through them. And so, you know, you just focus on the one you're painting, focus on the tooth you're painting until it's done, and then you move to the next one. Because when you start going into the mind games of, well, man, this one took me 20 minutes, and there's, you know, so many more here, you kind of set yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
And, you know, then you actually end up slowing down a lot of times. So just focus on what's in front of you, and, you know, make sure that, you know, you're considering like, hey, if I cut this corner, am I still going to be happy with the result at the end? And use that as a compass. But you know, focusing on the final result is always really important, because it can be really easy to want to get to a point where it's like, man, these are taking a million years. Like, I just want to rush it and get through it. But the final result being something you're happy with is always worth a little extra effort.
Do you have any advice?
I think of what I used to do, and I don't want to go back to what I used to do, so every time I think it's hard, I'm just like, well, dude, it's like I get to do this for a job. Like, you know, and you got to remind, not saying it doesn't get crazy sometimes and where it gets rough, like it is tough. But like I have to remind myself, well, hey, you could be working a job you hate, you know? And that's kind of what keeps me going, you know?
And so, you know, you never know who the customer is going to be, so you treat every piece like it should be, you know, as close to perfect as humanly possible.
It's all made by hand. Like, nothing we do is machine made. It's not a factory. It's literally us doing it. Yeah. All of us here. Yeah.
They might look like near twins, but no one's going to be identical, which is, I think, really fun. And it certainly seems that our customers really value the craftsmanship that we try to put into this stuff.